going to market this and and we all going to get rich. Me, Chad, and Matt Herring going to be rich off of Maryland style gumbo.
It's gonna be, and it's gonna be the beer and bass gumbo recipe, baby.
The
There you
beer and
go.
bass. Hell yeah, let's go, baby.
Dude, mark that clip because we using that. That's a short. That's a reel for sure right there, man.
Oh my
Are
goodness,
we
man.
live, Chad?
We are live. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, hanging out. I already screwed it up. I put our audio right in front of the camera on accident.
We didn't screw it up. We want to be doing it right, man.
Absolutely, man. There's something going on every time, whether audio or whatever's going on. If you guys are listening right now, please let me know. Does our audio sound okay? Is there any echo? Is there anything I need to fix? We got Mr. Matt Herron in the top right corner of the screen. Check him out. We're super pumped to have him on for some tackle talk and to get down to some dirty on some dirty jigs.
On the dirty jigs, dude, I gotta do the intro though. My most favorite Bass Elite Pro and the coolest person I have ever met from the Elite Series, Mr. Matt Herron.
I gotta say,
Mr.
I could second that.
Yeah,
I could second that.
coolest person you talk to. He's down to earth. He's like us. He's definitely a Friday night shenanigan guy. That's what we call our Friday nights, Matt. Shenanigans. Oh
I'm the guy
man.
that if you're fishing against me, I might get in your boat and hide your rods or cut your baits off, or I like to have a good time.
Put the bananas on the boat.
Yeah, put a few boat. Yeah.
Did you guys see that video that Chris Aldane did to like Scott Martin and them? Where he was like trying to get them to smell like this scent and he sprayed like that fart spray in the bag. And he had them like blindfolded and he was like, what scent is this? And I was like, oh. It was pretty good, dude. It was pretty good. But we're not here to talk about shenanigans. We're here to talk about flipping and jig fishing. And Chad asked me a question
on
earlier.
That dirty.
I didn't really know how to answer it because he was like, should we put this up as elite flipper or elite jig fisherman? I was like, kind of both. You don't only just flip a jig, you flip soft plastics as well, I'm sure, right?
Anything could be flipped and pitched. I flip and pitch it. I mean, flipping and pitching is all about a presentation to put a bait in the water as quietly as possible on a precise target. And you can do that with a lot of stuff. I've flipped pitch chatterbait, flip pitch jig, flip pitch a Cinco, flip pitch beaver. I mean, it's just whatever. But the flipping and pitching part is actually the technique that allows you to put a bait in there as quietly and precisely as possible.
Right, created by D. Thomas. And for some people, some younger people may not know when Matt says flipping or pitching, that actually was two different things at one time. Now we kind of flip, or is it pitch? I don't know. One was like when you pulled the line out like this.
You don't
and put in.
Flipping's actually you just basically hold the line in your hand and pendulum swing it very close to a target. And then pitching is actually where you do an underhand roll cast and let at longer distances. And what I do is if I want to get a bait straight up and down vertical, like on a seawall or a pier piling, I'm going to flip it because I want the bait to go in. I want it to fall straight vertical down. And then if I'm trying to skip a bait, way back up under a shady place or way back up under a dock, that's pitching. So just remember, if you want the bait to go straight up and down, flip it. If you want the bait, get it back under something, you pitch it.
There you go. That's juice right there. A lot of people don't know that. They don't even know that flipping and pitching are two different things. Not a lot of the younger guys.
I mean, literally just drop some juice right there.
Mm-hmm.
Know the difference.
So what size rod are you usually using? No, actually, I got another question first. Braid or fluoro?
What's up, Scott? What's up, Frank? Thanks for joining us, boys.
The only time you're going to see me go to braid is if I'm fishing really dense vegetation. And other than that, I'm going to use Gamma 20-pound fluoro. I pretty much use it for everything. I might go down if I'm just like flipping or pitching a weightless Cinco. I'll go down to 14 or 16. And then as far as rod goes, I'm a 7.6 guy. I use either a 7.6 Z-bone or a 7.6 feeling reel I mean, not a feeling reel, a KLX from Kisser. I'm going brain dead tonight.
Hey, it's all right, man.
Same series. Feeling reel's a chatterbait rod, but the KLX line and the Z-Bone line are fantastic rods, and they've Trey listens to us and designs a rod pretty good himself, and then gets input from me and Alton Jr. and a lot of the other guys that are on staff. So when you pick up a rod, he's got the input of a lot of great anglers and a lot of great gears, and so it's going to be what you need.
Gamma line is probably the best line there is.
By far, nothing.
Yep. A lot of people don't know about Gamma. Gamma makes probably the best line you can get.
Yeah, Dale Knight and the crew up there at Gamma. I mean, they're not going to mass market anything because they're selling a really high end product. I mean, a really quality product, and they're not going to compete with Berkeley and Strand and none of them on the line. But I mean, they're selling a product that's far superior to what those folks are selling. So it's a little more pricey, but it's worth every penny that you spend.
Yeah, they have that they're like the let's just say the Mercedes-Benz of fishing lines. Like
there is no better if you're needing an abrasion resistant super strong line. There is Gamma Bill's the best there is.
You're going to pay a little more, but you pay for what you get.
Yep. If you're just going fun fishing and you don't care, that's one thing. If you're going out fishing a derby, whether it's a club tournament or whatever, and you want to beat all your buddies, you don't want to get broke off.
It's time to cash a check.
Yeah, it gets serious, man. We're talking. You can control the controllables.
It's about bragging rights, man. It ain't about the money.
What kind of knot do you prefer, Matt, on your jigs?
Palomar? He's so right when he says it's about the bragging rights too. Like it totally is.
That's all it's about, dude. Honestly.
At the Thursday nighters, if you weren't the Thursday night king, you're just nobody.
Yeah. I mean, it ain't about the money. The money's just the benefit that comes along with beating your buddies. I mean,
you want to be the guy go home like, yeah, that's right. I those Thursday nighters where I'm not in the top 3, they're not my funnest nights. Those Thursday nighters where I'm in the top 3 and I come home and I give my wife the money. Here you go. But I'm just,
it's a smart move.
Pictures on Facebook, whatever. Like, yes, So yeah, he's right. Yeah. But Palomar knot?
No.
No.
Some people call it San Diego Jam. Some people, it's literally a double trilene knot.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar. Where you wrap it around and you go through.
Really double it just like you would Palomar knot, but I'm either gonna twist it somewhere between like a 20-pound line. I'm gonna make 4 wraps and go back through, and with 8-pound line, I'm probably gonna make 6. But it's just an old stack fisherman's knot, and the biggest advantage to it is it does not put a lot of stress on the main line. A Palomar knot puts a lot of stress on the main line, and the harder you pull on a Palomar knot, it cuts into itself. So, and you don't, with this style knot, as bad as I hate to admit this, David Dudley's the one that convinced me to use this knot years ago. We were in Mexico, and
what's up, Adam? Thanks for joining, brother.
The U.S. Open, the Open, right?
Yeah, well, Dudley, he told me when we picked up a stick on the bank or something, and I tied my knot and wrapped the line around it and broke it with my hand and tied his knot. And when I pulled it, it was obvious instantly which one was stronger. Everybody put it on a knot machine, everybody stress it or whatever. I'm just telling you, if you want to check this deal, tie this knot, I'm telling you. Make sure it's cinched right. Wrap it around a stick, try to break your line, then tie a Palomar knot, try to break your line. You're going to go, oh my God.
Really?
Yeah, that style knot is substantially stronger than a Palomar. Palomar's the best knot ever as far as slippage. But like I said, the harder you pull on it, the more it cuts into the main line.
Right. Okay. That makes a lot of sense too. I'm a big Palomar fan.
Me too.
One of my goals for getting ready for this season was actually to be more efficient at tying the San Diego Jam.
Well, let me ask you this. How many times do you set the hook and it's instant breakage, just without.
It's happened a bunch of times to me.
You know why, don't you?
It's happened a
Because
few.
of the
It's happened a few
Palomar knot.
times. It's happened a few times.
When you shock that line, and what I call shock it, when you
Mhm.
leash, and you're using a stiffer rod, and you got that 3 foot of slack. It's like a train going 100 miles an hour, and it comes to a stop. The weak point, you're not breaking the line. You are not breaking the line. You're cutting the main line in the knot.
That kind of makes a lot of sense of why every time I look at it afterwards, it's just a clean break at the end, and I'm always like, it must have been rubbing on a rock or something. Like,
I'll see. Oh, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
No,
I'll see.
you're cutting the line. I'm done.
Oh, sorry, Matt. Sorry. I was going to say I've seen Matt Pangrat say something about the way you tie a Palomar if it's upside down or something.
Yeah, you can't lay it over itself. You know that, because what'll happen is where the tagging comes up by the main line, if they cross, it's bad. So you got to make sure that they're stacked up. But it's still, like I said, it's a as far as slippage goes, it's the best knot ever. But the more pressure you put on that knot, the harder you pull on that line. That loop that goes around the main line pulls tighter and tighter, and it literally cuts the line.
it's such a skinny like loop too, where when you have one of those jam knots that kind of goes up the line, I feel like you don't have that cut point.
You don't. I mean, it's just like taking a pair of scissors and you instantly cut that main line. I mean,
right. Man, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, it took me losing a lot of money.
Take it from Matt Herron, everybody. Take it from Matt Herron.
The thing I use a Palomar knot for anytime I tie braid, I'm tying Palomar. It is the knot for braided line, because braided line, the problem with it is it slips. It don't want to cinch down tight, and it'll slip under pressure. But other than that, I don't. I'm tying a crazy Alberto on braided lines to leader lines with a spinning rod, and I tie that San Diego Jam on anything to do with fluorocarbon, and a Palomar for braid. That's Matt Herron's knots. And I might tie a loop knot, and that's just a loop knot. I ain't got no crazy creative stuff with that.
Huh. When do you tie the loop knot, Matt?
I tie a loop knot anytime. I like to throw it when I'm throwing topwater, especially like which y'all ain't old enough to know nothing about this, but old pre-chub or any kind of fast walking deal like on herring lakes or even spooks, stuff like that. You put a split ring on them, or you can tie a loop knot. Sometimes you throw a popper with it. It just frees up the nose of a bait and lets it walk more, because you got that slack and you got that loop in there that allows that bait to move around. But it's a really good knot. And then the other deal, I mean, a lot of these guys now that are using the forward-facing sonar and the shadmans, the grub heads, they're tying a loop on it, so when they're sitting there shaking and reeling that thing it totally frees that bait up.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. Anytime you want more action on the bait, loop knot is the deal. It's just like putting a snap on it and letting it move on its own.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you next.
I was going to ask, what's the downside to using a snap over a loop knot?
Well, the added weight of a snap wants to pull the nose of the topwater down. And
okay, it makes sense. Yep.
Oh.
And it does not let a bait move as free as on a because you got to remember now, you can make a loop knot with as big a loop in it as you want. So you can literally tie a 3/4 inch loop and let that bait move all up and down that line. So you got a lot of movement in it. You're not restricting it at all. You can't you'd have to put God knows, I don't know what size snap that would be on it. It'd be huge. So yeah, but you can do a lot with a loop knot that you can't do with a snap.
Right, because the snap's certain size and you can tie.
Yeah.
These are
tie
just
a big loop on there.
I mean, these are just those average things that your average fisherman don't process through their mind and stuff. Like, oh, you hear like the snap swivel. Okay, it's really great. Kind of gives some stuff more motion. But then the general guy doesn't go, okay, if I put the snap swivel on the front of this frog or whatever, it's going to weigh the front of the frog down, or the spook or whatever I'm throwing down more. And it's going to change. It could change its action.
It'll change its action. And that's like I said, that's the big reason for going to the loop knot is if you're trying to let a bait walk more freely or move more freely, the loop knot's not tied directly to it like a snap or a main line, so it'll allow it to move.
So I guess when you're tying up to your dirty jigs, you're using are you using the San Diego jam?
Yeah, either some people gonna call it San Diego jams where it's kind of twist and pull back. I mean, literally, guys, look up trialing knot. That's all you got to do. It's
Right.
just double. I mean, it's just literally, and you ain't got to go back through the eye. You know, a lot of times on a trialing knot, guys will run the line through there and make a loop, go back through, and do the hangman's noose on it and pull it down. I don't. I literally run it through double, twist it 4 to 6 times, run it back through the hole. I wet it so it don't put any kind of pressure on the main line to cinch it down. Just make sure. One way to know how this knot, if that knot pulled down securely, is it will literally click when all the loops stack. I mean, it's just like you snap a cabinet or something. You'll feel it snap, and if it doesn't snap, look and make sure all those loops stack perfectly. And as long as they're stacked, that knot is not going to fail. Gerald Swindle throws that knot. I think must be an Alabama thing. I don't know. Me and Gerald's been throwing it a long time.
The Alabama knot. Call it Alabama. I'm still looking for some of that Maryland gumbo.
And now that we're talking about these jigs here, you're tying them on a San Diego jam or a trilene knot. What's probably your most common weight that you might throw when you're throwing jigs around? You in that half ounce range, 3/8, throwing 3/4?
Most of the time, I go middle of the road. I go to a half,
Mm-hmm.
and then I either go up or down. And if I fish anything lighter than a 3/8, we got a jig at Luke Lawson Design. It's a compact pitching jig. Luke Design, and basically it's the same hook as in my jig. It goes down to a 1/4, but it's just a regular wire hook. It's not a big Bubba hook. So I use that jig quite a bit if I'm using 14 or 16 pound line in clear water. Anytime I kind of want to finesse up. But everything from 3/8 up, I'm using my jig. I got mine comes in a 3/8, half, and 5/8. And a lot of it, you just need to look at the type bottom you're fishing. Look at if you're fishing a hard clay bottom or a hard rock bottom, that's one thing. If you're fishing old soft mucky bottom, you don't need to be throwing that 5/8. It's just going to bury up in the mud. So those little tips like that I can give you. I just did a seminar this weekend at the expo, and the guy's talking about, man, my favorite bait in the world is a worm, but I can't catch a bass on a jig to save my life. And I told that fellow straight off. I said, I can fix that. He said, what's that? I said, I'll send you a psychiatrist because it's between your ears. And he says, dude, what? I said, if you can drag a worm and catch a bass, you can drag a jig and catch a bass. There ain't no difference. It's just you mentally, you think that you can't catch one on a jig. And I said, unless you're trying to snap it and hop it and I said, just throw it out there like a worm.
Just let it sit. Just let it sit. Let it soak.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of got a question.
The only thing that I've noticed with guys and jigs, a lot of people get hung up with a jig, or they have a tendency because they don't use the right style head, or they don't use the correct, the jig they're using just don't have a really good weed guard in it or whatever. But the biggest thing is the way they control their rod. A lot of guys that are worm fishermen or Carolina rig fishermen hold the rod sideways and like to pull or drag the bait. Well, I pull and drag a jig, but I do it with a rod at 10 o'clock, not at 3 o'clock. Because when you pull that rod, if you hold that rod down there at 3 o'clock, you're going to allow that jig head to roll over on its side, and then you're going to, every time it comes to, you're going to hang it. Where if you hold it at 10 o'clock and you just keep it on the bottom and you keep scooting, you're keeping the jig upright, you're keeping the weed guard up high, and it's going to deflect cover and stuff and keep you from getting hung. But the way you use a rod and the way that stuff you control your jig is going to allow. I could throw mine in the god awfulest jungle you ever seen. I'm 99% of the time I'm not going to get home.
Just your angle at which your line is coming out of the water out across something is the difference in whether it's going to roll or whether it could get stuck because of the angle of your rod.
Yeah, and choosing the correct style head for the cover you're fishing is going to make for a lot more enjoyable day. If you're fishing really dense vegetation, you need a pointy style jig. If you're fishing rock or brush or wood, you're going to need what I call like an M&M style, like my head, because it's going to allow it to sit upright. It's not going to allow it to roll over on the side, and it's going to keep you from getting hung up. You know, when I designed mine, it's got a 5/32 weed guard, which is a little bit bigger than most traditional jigs, but yet they're medium bristle, so they're not real stiff. You get a really stiff weed guard, and you may not get hung, but your hook ratio, your strike catch ratio is not going to be real good because you're not going to get good penetration. So you gotta there's so many variables in jig fishing. I could talk about it all night, but it is what it is. I mean, make sure if you're fishing a jig, keep your rod at 10 o'clock, and make sure if you're going to drag it, you do it with your rod. You ain't got to hop it, but you can take your reel and your rod and scoot it back.
Uh-oh.
I think Matt froze up. Wait a minute, there he goes.
There he is.
Yeah, I had a incoming call. This guy named Phil Hunt was calling.
What's up, Phil?
I got a quick question for you, Matt. When you say you go back in a creek, right? When you start flipping, do you flip into like a lay down, see if they're hitting it on the fall, and if they're not, then you decide to start dragging it, or how do you is that the first thing? What's the first way you approach it? You just flip it out there and you start dragging it, or do you see maybe they're hitting it on the fall? We lost Matt.
Yeah, I'm trying to get them, guys. Bear with me. You there?
Hey, no, you're good, Matt. You're good.
Yeah, I just ain't got no.
I was kind of wondering how you know, how you decide, hey, I'm gonna just flip around these lay downs, see if they're hitting it, or if you decide, well, let me go ahead and slow down, and start dragging it. You know what I mean?
I kind of got what I call a 3-second rule. Number one is when my jig hits water and it hits the bottom, I generally count to about 3 before I ever move it. And I think that's where a lot of people really make a mistake. Is as soon as the jig hits the bottom, they're ready to start working.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kiss of death. Because anybody that's ever had a house cat, you play with the same house cat over and over and over and over, and with the same toy, cat gets where you don't pay no attention to the toy, right? And when you trying to get back online here.
Now we can still hear you.
Okay. Anyway, but if you'll throw that same toy over to that cat, just let it lay there.
Can't see you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I don't know if your phone screen, your camera might have turned around.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure it out here.
Nah, you're good, Matt. It's funny that you're saying that because I had to explain this before. You got a cat. It's like playing with a cat, trying to get them to play. But continue, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, but you gotta let it lay there, and so many bites that I get with the jig come as soon as I move it, or as soon as it hits the bottom. It'll be laying there on slack line and they'll nail it. But when I'm fishing the jig, I'm also paying attention to where they hit it on the presentation. Do they hit it as soon as it goes in the water? Do they hit it halfway down? Do they hit it on the bottom? And if they're hitting it on the bottom and you're fishing 8 foot deep, why do you want to throw a 3/8 ounce jig and wait all that time for it to get to the bottom?
Right. Okay.
Because, but
what's up, Jim?
If they're hitting it as soon as it touches the water, a foot down, you might want to go to a 1/4 ounce jig or something and keep it in their face a little longer. So it's all about rate of fall and where the fish are positioned in the water column.
Man, that was some serious juice right there, Matt.
I hit that, Rob, I hit that little flag mark on the recording thing 8 times already.
Right, yeah, dude, that was some juice right there, dude. That was some juice.
Fishing, man.
Well, So
Real
for
quick,
people,
Rob. Real quick, Rob. We have some comments that I wanna
oh,
have
all right.
from our groups. First, Matt Scott Sewell. He hung out with you. He took you around on the Upper Bay in about 2015, and he commented in. He said hello.
Tell Scott I said hello. I've been making call him, check in on him. He's a good guy. When I first time we went to Chesapeake Bay, his name popped up, and I literally called him, and I just cold called him like, "Hey, is there fish in the middle river? Is there, just trying to get an idea of the lay of the land?" And he went out of his way just to try to give me the lay of the land, and it was awesome, man. He's a good guy.
We love Mr. Scott.
We love
He
Scott.
already knows that. I'm tired of telling Mr. Scott how much I love him, dude, but he knows I love him.
Yeah, man. Mr. Scott does a lot for us around here, man. He's the reason that our home body of water fishes as good as it does after we had a bad fish kill years ago. He's put a lot of effort into putting stock back in the gunpowder, as well as other tributaries here in Maryland and
the Thursday nighters.
The Thursday nighters, man. Middle River bass, the flea markets. I think he's on the black bass board. Black bass.
Mr. Scott does a lot of work.
I mean,
He's
just
on everything.
Phenomenal guy. And then Matt, we had a question from one of our local studs. And when I say stud, he's just a hammer. His name is Tom, and he says, "Does Matt flare out the weed guard?"
No, sir.
There's your answer, Tom. No.
No.
Don't do it.
No.
Why not?
If you're using the right weed guards, you don't got to flare it. And it's flaring the weed guard, guys. Literally trying to. There we go. Flaring the weed guard is something that a lot of guys have done over the years. They'll cut it back at a 45. I cut mine probably about, I don't know, a quarter of an inch past the tip of the hook. I don't want it long, but I don't flare it. And the reason why I went to a 5/32 guard is because when you flare, you lose the strength of the weed guard. You may think that you're actually increasing the deflectivity of a weed guard. You're making it wider, so maybe it'll hang, won't hang as bad, but you're actually weakening. You're losing strength in the guard when you spread it out. So no, I don't. I never have. I don't cut it off at no crazy angle, even with a hook and all that garbage, because you'll wind up if this is the hook and you cut it at a 45, you wind up with 2 or 3 actual weed guards that's actually doing anything, and the rest of them are just junk. So no, just buy the right jig or put the right weed guard in it. You ain't got that problem.
Get that Matt Herron flipping jig.
One of our followers, Danny, who's been following us for a long time, he says, "My favorite bait to throw," hang on, it just went up. "My favorite bait to throw is a jig." He makes his own personal jigs. He says, "My own personal homemade jig." He throws it on mono. He says it's more of a natural fall. It's been good for me for a long time, with a good old clinch knot. How do you ever throw any of your jigs on monofilament? Does you ever find a purpose for that?
Yeah, mono is kind of still can be used. I got a lot of buddies here that fish on the river here at home that still throw 25 and 30 pound mono. And he's right. It's a totally different fall. Fluorocarbon sinks on its own. Mono doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually, it changes what it does. It changes the fall rate of a jig. You can take a 3/8 ounce jig, put it on 25 pound mono, and it'll fall about like a 1/4 ounce jig. Where if you put a 3/8 ounce jig on 16 pound fluorocarbon, it'll fall like a guided missile. So he's right. Monofilament does change fall rates on jigs. And the other thing it does, if you get a guy that's really what I call trigger happy, likes to set the hook anytime something breathes on his bait, or really likes to set the hook hard.
Sounds like Tony.
It kind of kills the sensitivity somewhat. So a guy don't really feel the bait as quick, and he'll let a fish suck a bait in deeper. So mono can definitely be an advantage at times, and it just depends. If you're not sophisticated enough with all the hours on the water that I have to figure out whether how do I adjust my fall rates and stuff, just use the mono. So I mean, 25 pound big game's caught 9 billion bass.
Huh.
That's a good answer. I like that.
There's so much juice in this. My brain is.
I hit the flag one more
I gotta,
time. I was like,
rewatch
boop.
it 5 times to take all this in.
I said, hit that flag. Boop. We're talking about mono with a jig.
Soaking it in, dude.
Boop.
Now I don't know if I should be flipping with mono. Now, actually, I do know fluorocarbon. I
Look,
always use
look,
20
Pete, your brother up in, or not Pete, Rob. Pete, your brother is up in here saying
Oh,
black and blue jig with a pink fluke.
Dude, he swears by pink. Look,
Yo,
we'll
dude,
be out
I
fishing.
swear by pink. Do not sleep on pink. Don't sleep on pink, depending on where you're at.
Anywhere, dude. They don't care where we're at, what color the water is. We ain't catching them. He's like, I'm gonna throw the pink on. Throws it out, catches one every freaking time, dude.
Can't
it
sleep
matter.
on it, baby.
Muddy
Can't
water,
sleep on the
clear
pink.
Water,
What's your opinion on the pink, Matt?
Mouth, it don't matter, dude. He's like, it's time to throw out the pink. Throws it out there. It might be a 1 pounder, but he'll get a bite. I'm like, what the hell, dude?
Well, this is the deal. If you got confidence in a black and blue jig and a pink trailer, throw it.
He does it. I think he catches the same fish every time. I think he's got that fish trained, dude.
90% of fishing's confidence, man.
Yeah. Straight up.
If you're confident in a bait, you're going to fish it thoroughly, you're going to fish it correctly. And if you tie on something you don't have any confidence, you're going to make 2 casts with it, throw it on the floor, bite it off, and go get something else.
That's true.
Kevin Parsons in the house. Thanks for joining, Kevin. It's been a long time since we've seen you on, my brother.
He only throws a white chatterbait and a white frog, so like Kevin.
And you know what? It works out for him.
It works good, yeah. I'm just messing with Kevin.
It straight up works, dude.
Actually, Kevin's a really good jig fisherman, actually. But Kevin, you should just go away. You only hear this because me and Kevin be battling it out on the Thursday nighters, dude. This is nothing for you to listen to, dude.
I do want to pay attention, Matt. If at any time you need to get out of here and handle your stuff, man, you just tell us, because we get involved in conversation with you, and I swear we can just roll. But if you need to get out of here or anything, you just let us know when you need to cut, and we're good.
Got about 4 or 5 more minutes, guys, and I got something I got to get on.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna get you some more of that, so you can make some more of that gumbo too, man. Now I'm thinking you might have to send us some gumbo back, though.
Yeah.
I'll send you the ingredients. We get a little taste back.
We just took that East Coast recipe and turned it into a good Southern Louisiana cuisine.
There we go.
I need the recipe for that Southern Louisiana cuisine, dude. I need that.
We gotta give the backstory real quick though. We sent Matt a bunch of a little taste of Maryland, let's say, a bunch of Old Bay stuff, crab soup, and a bunch of Old Bay stuff. And then I was just asking him, did he enjoy it? And he said his wife took some of it and made Maryland Louisiana gumbo. What were we calling it? Matt had a name for it. It was classic, dude. I don't remember what.
It's Maryland style gumbo, brother. You just take, instead of this, because all the box calls for is some crab meat, and it's it's a crab soup. So she got some crab meat. She got some Louisiana boudin sausage. She got some shrimp.
Oh, that boudin!
You can't even get no boudin around here.
Got that boudin.
Yeah.
You can get you some smoked sausage. Make a long story short, you know, the cool thing about a gumbo is you can throw about anything and everything in it. Yeah. So he just kind of added that to all the mix from the Maryland style crab soup. Next thing we know, we got us a bad to the bone Maryland style gumbo.
So you made a good old Louisiana gumbo and threw in the Maryland crab soup mix.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, I need some of that in my life.
We about to hold up. You need to patent that real quick.
If Matt comes to Maryland, we're just going to have a big old crawfish, Louisiana, Maryland style, just mix it all together, gumbo party.
Hey, Matt, next time you're in the area, next time you're in Maryland in the area getting ready for fishing or anything, you let us know, and the gumbo is on.
It's a Maryland, Louisiana gumbo.
I just want to go to Woody's.
Oh, yeah. Remember, he told us about do you know how many messages I got from people that was like, you don't know where Woody's is? I was like, no, I'm not. I live in Middle River. I don't live out by the Northeast.
It's a long way from Woody's.
Yeah. So, but I got all these messages of people shocked. Like, you didn't know?
Scott is asking, are you fishing the Classic next week?
No, I'm not. First time, and I ain't made it. It's killing me. I got to go up there and work it, and to go have to work a Bassmaster Classic not fishing. That's like that's a criminal disaster.
It's it's gut wrenching, man. It's gut wrenching. We talked earlier. We already know.
How often did you make the classic? Like you made the classic every year, normally.
Well, I ain't made it the last 2 years because I wouldn't use
forward facing sonar. That's what I was getting to. You read my mind.
Cutthroat.
So that forward facing sonar came out, and then it's like they're killing the flippers, the good old school hardcore flipping, frogging, spinner baiting, real hardcore fishermen, in my opinion. It's not Matt's opinion or Chad's, but it's my freaking opinion. And I want to see more of that. I think there's room in the sport for both.
Well, why can't we have an electronics division?
You gotta adjust or whatever, and just to whatever's the new stuff is. I'm kind of torn right now because in our sport, we killed the A-rig stone cold dead because it was bad for fishing. It was killing tackle sales. It was all this stuff. And yet, because we're making $5,000 electronic units, it ain't bad for the sport. And then my point is, are we a marketing firm, or are we a bass fishing tournament? Are we a professional anglers, or are we just professional marketers? Because if we're professional anglers, then we shouldn't be using anything that affects the God-given natural ability of an angler. And we're there. We finally found something that will supersede angling ability.
And I think they don't look at it this way, but if you're someone that knows nothing about bass fishing at all, and you're like, first of all, people think, like, when you tell them, like, yeah, I like fish tournaments and stuff, they're like, think that you're just sitting there with, like, people that don't fish at all or know much about it. So now
what's up,
they
Brian?
look at it like, you just sit there and look at the computer screen, see the fish swimming around and cast on them. That's what they're going to think it is. They're going to think that's all you got to do.
I'm telling you guys, y'all mentioned forward-facing sonar, and our views just spiked.
It's such a hot topic. Like, look, I don't hate it. Like, I honestly think there's room for both. You know,
no, you're telling the story now. You ain't what you said earlier. I got recorded.
That's kind of true. Okay, yeah, Matt called me out. All right, yeah,
he got you, bro.
Yeah, he got me. But
Matt,
oh, go ahead, Chad. Sorry.
Rob, finish what you have to say, because I want to keep Matt loose.
If you get Chad started too bad on forward-facing sonar, he's just going to. He had a whole argument for 3 hours the other day about it.
Matt,
we are at a crossroads in this sport, and I don't know what the answer is. Bass is looking at it. They've got a committee supposed to be evaluating all of it, but we're literally, to do what I've done, I had to invest years and years and years of knowledge to learn all the techniques and all the movements and all the things that I do to make a living. And now we got kids coming out of high school and college that can compete with me instantly. So you let that make your own decision, because I promise you, if you took that piece of equipment away, you're going to have a different outcome. And I thought that was what we used to consider to be a professional angler. These guys that could do it all, and these guys that were that could change with seasonal stuff, and that they could always adapt and adjust. And now we figured out there's no limitations with this equipment, and if a guy gets good with it, he can beat your brains out. So that there's some serious questions got to be had.
Absolutely.
That was a serious, good note to let Matt go. We know we have to go, but dude, Matt, you are our very favorite guest.
100%.
Well, thank you for having me on. I always enjoy it, and y'all keep me informed on what's going on out there. I always like to hear it, and call me back. I'll be on anytime.
Matt, we would love to have you back. Thank you, sir.
I'm gonna get you some of that crab soup, and I'm gonna get you one of those flip around and find out shirts, dude. Coming your way.
See you guys.
Hey,
see you, Matt. Now it's just me and Riverboat Rob.
Oh, never mind. Did my battery die?
Looks like it.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. You're back now.
I don't know. My wife was in here messing around. She had the skateboard. I don't know. Dude, I love Matt Herron, dude.
Matt Herron is great, dude.
Love Matt Herron, dude.
Freaking amazing dude, awesome guy. One of them guys that we could literally text in an hour and be like, "Hey, you want to do a show?" And he'll just literally jump on and be like, "Yeah, let's talk some jigs."
He's a real dude. He's like us. He's real. He's not big headed. He's not conceited. He's a real dude. And all the things that he has accomplished and done in the sport, and he's just like a regular dude like us, man. It's pretty cool. And he's so fun to talk to, and he's so knowledgeable. So it's just,
I really like the
I cut him
insight
off
that
a few times. I thought I was making him mad. I'm like, oh shit, because Matt Herron will whoop your ass. Like, so I was like, oh shit.
you better watch yourself then.
I just cursed, dude. I'm sorry. I put $1 in the jar. Oh man, I hope they just piss Matt off. He really is one of my favorite dudes in professional fishing. And oh no, I can't say it yet. Never mind. We got more stuff coming.
Wait, can you say the one thing?
No, because who's coming on next week?
Wait, can you say the one thing about the one guy?
No, I thought I can't yet. Well, who?
Wait, you mean who's coming on this Friday?
Yeah.
We're hanging out with John Hanson this Friday, dog.
There you go.
We're hanging out with John Hanson and Little John after they just got back from that trip down to Lake Okeechobee, Headwaters, and Santee Cooper on the way back up. They were joined by Scuba Steve. Maybe we'll even get Scuba Steve to call in. Who knows? But we are super stoked to have John and Little John come in the studio and talk about their trip. I know for a fact that Little John was out there crushing them on a freaking jerkbait. And
dude, Scuba Steve went with them though? Like I was trying
yeah. Scuba Steve went
Idea.
Scuba Steve went down on a Thursday night or some shit and fished with them for like 3 or 4 days.
Oh, nice.
Came up
nice.
and they started down. He fished Headwaters and then they came up and they fished Santee. They fished Santee actually while MLF was there, but they stayed in one of the parts of the river that was not allowed for MLF.
Oh, got you.
It was called the Hatchery. If anybody's ever heard of the Hatchery down in the Santee.
I think we're going to have in the next few weeks, sometime in the future, one of our the very first time we have an
we love Matt
Pro.
Linda.
Matt Herron is my favorite person in the world, dude.
Matt's definitely one of my. He's probably my favorite elite fisherman.
And now I got to take Maryland crab soup and make gumbo out of it. He said it's the bomb, and I love to cook. Dude, he said he took the Maryland crab soup I sent him and made Louisiana style gumbo out of it. My brain is just blown right now. I got to make that, dude. Got to make it. We got an MLF Pro coming on in the future. We may be going to visit a boat wrap company.
Do you know which MLF Pro is it?
I'm not saying it because we got Mr. John Hanson on, and that's more important right now. We'll talk about it. Hey, look, tune in next Friday to the John Hanson episode. Let's hear about Scuba Steve's and them's adventures down there. I know I'm excited to hear about it. And then we'll make some announcements after that. Yes,
We got...
So you want to say
dude, I want to send it so bad.
We'll say it.
It's like, bro, we got Keith Carson's coming on the show.
Keith Carson will be on the following week. If you don't know who Keith Carson is, he's an MLF pro.
John Hanson, Keith Carson.
And he may be visiting a boat wrap factory.
We
did with Reservoir Boat Works.
We have Andy Hauser with Team Marine scheduled for April 12th. That's happening. And I don't have a date yet, but I just talked to Miss Riley with Big Bass Dreams. And Riley, excuse me if I say your name wrong, Riley Kolich or something is coming on the show. I do not have a date for that, but in the next coming weeks or 2 months, and she's going to hang out with us and talk to us about some of her big baits and her journeys with Big Bass Dreams and being a lady angler out there on the water. That's one thing that I'm really excited to actually tap into with some of the lady angler side of things and just getting a different perspective on the fishing world.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, dude. And that's the Friday nights. The tackle talk. The tackle talk. I call it Talk and Tackle on my channel. Chad calls it Tackle Talk Tuesdays, even though it may not always be Tuesday. But either way, we do them together and we put them on our channels. We got Mr. Mike Buka said he's going to do a couple episodes with us too.
That's very inappropriate, Kevin.
Buka will be back. Mike Buka will be back. He's going to the Classic, selling his baits. When he gets back from the Classic, we'll have a couple of episodes with Mike Buka. Me and Chad will be picking Mike's brain about some of his baits. I think we go like with the new stuff he's been putting out, the rats and stuff he's been doing.
I definitely do the HD rats. I would love to have a sit down on that HD rat boy.
Dude, I talked to Mike Buka yesterday. He's cool with it. He's got to go. He's got to do the Classic first, but when he gets back, I'm sure we'll have Matt Herron on again. Hopefully.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to keep doing this tackle talk thing too, where we just. I mean, I really meant to get into Matt's jig, his signature jig with Dirty Jigs.
You know how that goes, dude.
Yeah, the conversations go all over the place.
I mean, dude, you got a guy like Matt Herron that's just willing to go into the nitty gritty on most conversations. That just,
he does make one of the best flipping jigs around. Him and Denny Brower both have signature flipping jigs. Matt Herron is like one of the best jig fishermen that ever do it. And Dirty Jigs, it just period. Dirty Jigs are like my favorite. I'm only flipping Dirty Jigs anyways. You know what I mean? So,
yep.
Dirty Jigs. I like the Strike King. I like the Denny Brower flipping jig as well. But other than that, Dirty Jigs.
Hands down. I mean, Dirty Jig. Yeah. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I'll say whatever I want to say. But you got Dirty Jigs. You got Beast Coast. Missile. Can't do the Beast Coast. I got a box full of Beast Coast sitting right in front of me right here. That's all Beast Coast tungsten.
And you put the Missile D-bomb on there for a trailer.
Put the D-bomb on there, or put a trunk on there.
I go with the Dirty Jigs, the Matt Herron.
That's a little bit of GP with some Char.
Hold on. I got to grab my rod. It's right there. Hold on.
Football head.
No, hold
on. Man, see, dude, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Sometimes I get confused on what's what. I don't think this is Dirty Jigs. This is another jig I have. That's the wrong camera.
Look, dude, I know what mine is. This is the. Well, do you know? Paul Bowders probably knows just by looking at it that quick. That's a Strike King Denny Brower flipping jig with a Reaction Innovation Spicy Beaver trailer, dude. And it's just fire, dude. It's just fire.
I like that little bit of red. That's a good springtime color.
Yes, sir. Bass can see red better than any other color. But they can't see it, but it disappears faster than any other color.
Well,
so
Dustin.
On the fall, the red, when you first flip it in there, they see that red right away. Then it disappears. They cannot see blue, dude, by the way.
Dustin made a good comment, dude. Dirty Jig spinnerbaits have been released.
Really?
Yes, sir. Check it out there on Facebook, dude. Dirty Jig spinnerbaits have been dropped.
I go all my money now. I'm about to go on there, double willow leaf. Look, dude, I'm telling you right now, look, we're talking tackle. We're giving up juice.
Yo, put that down, bro.
The Mega Bass SV. Look, dude, I got them sitting here like this. I'm out.
Put it down.
I done did so many videos on this bait. Is Martin Payne on? Are you on, Martin? Look at the hook rash on this, dude. I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on. You can't see it, I don't think, on the camera.
I can see it just a little bit.
Oh, dude. If you know, then you know. Martin knows. Martin definitely knows, dude. Martin definitely knows. I probably got another one sitting right here. They're everywhere. I'm addicted to that bait right there. And then my favorite flipping bait, I keep a bag this size of them. This is how many I flipped, Chad. That'll last me a month.
Jeez.
So what I have learned, I have narrowed down my bait selection to baits that I throw. That's sweet right there, dude. And that's the Missile jig.
I believe this is Beast Coast.
Oh, that's the Beast Coast jig.
This is Beast Coast.
Travis Manson. Hey, Paul, we got something to tell you, dude. Is Paul on? Dude, we got something to tell you, dude. You're gonna love it. Wait till I can't say it on air, dude.
God damn, yo. No,
Paul's
you can't
gonna
say it
love
on air,
dude.
dude. You can't say it on air.
No, I'm not saying it on air. No, dude, don't say it on air. But Paul, trust me, you're gonna freaking love it, dude. You're gonna love it. Something Matt Herron told us about one of your favorite people in the world, which is one of your least favorite people in the world.
Shut up, Rob.
That was. You tell Paul, dude. Off the air. Don't say it on the air.
I ain't saying it on here. I'm not talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about right now. To be honest
you know
with
exactly
you. Look,
what I'm talking
I'm just
about.
looking at these jigs and this
It
wazoo
had
swimmer,
something to do with the, C word.
and
It had something to do with the C word, with some kind of sucking.
shut up, Rob. Don't do
I
it.
can't. I know I can't. Dude.
Do not
I
do
can't,
it.
but Paul,
Don't do it.
Paul's gonna love it, dude. Paul's gonna love it.
Don't you
It
cut
makes
your
me
teeth
look-
that way.
It makes me feel bad. 'Cause Paul been telling me it, but hey, you're gonna like it when you hear it, Paul. You're gonna laugh your ass.
I can hear you.
I keep cursing, dude. I try not to. You're gonna laugh your butt off. That doesn't sound right when I say that. You're gonna laugh your A off.
Bro, you sound like nasally as hell. I have no idea what happened, but
Oh, yeah, I know. It sounds like a little like something staticky going on. But either way, we gotta shut it down anyways.
yeah,
I gotta
we're
eat
getting to
some
that
dinner,
point.
my brother. She's sick.
Let's go. Rob, appreciate you, brother. Let's set
Hey,
this
that was
up
a
for
good
next
time,
week,
man.
brother. Yeah.
Good time. Paul, text Chad. He'll fill you in, dude. I can't even say it. I can't even find myself
Kevin's staring at his phone right now.
Go ahead and tell him, man. I can't even do it. I'm gonna eat some dinner. Hey, I love y'all, man. Hey, thanks everybody for watching. Matt Herron, Matt Herron's probably not gonna watch any of this video, but dude, you really are our favorite guest to have on, man.
100%.
We love you, and thank you so much, brother. And on that note, it's time
Peace
to
out,
shut this
boys.
sucker down. All
See
right.
ya.
All right, peace.